Hi everyone, I'm Lauren and welcome to my art nook. If you'd like, please check out my Etsy page and my Instagram account. So today I will be working in my junk journal. I have this really cool vintage book. I love it. Great piece maker. I think it's from like 1908 or something crazy, and it has all these really cool ads in it. And this one just happened to have trunks, and I have like this weird obsession with trunks. Yeah, 1908. How crazy is that? So I really like trunks. I think they're really beautiful and intricate, and so I saw this ad in there and I was just like, yes, let's add this to my junk journal. So I cut it out and now we are just gonna make a beautiful collage out of it. So, and it said best trunks on earth, and I was like, aren't all trunks awesome? I love trunks. And what just I loved about this little advert in this book was that the trunks were so cheap. They were like $2 and $4, and they're just like the most intricate ones you ever see at like thrift stores, and they're like hundreds of dollars. It's crazy. It did kind of break my heart to tear this page, but I was like, I just have to. I need to rip it to like get the feel I want for this page. But I had to do it. It kind of hurt my heart a little bit. So I'm only going to use the bottom two trunks for this spread. I'm going to save the top half for something else later. I'm not sure what. So I'm just going to try and get the top of this left trunk on here with all of its little details. And it kind of came off a little bit, so I had to kind of fussy cut them out and get them back on there. And now I am adding some collage paper from Tim Holtz from my haul video. I'll add that link up here if you'd like to check out my haul video, which was so much fun. Had a blast doing that. I have to do another one sometime. So adding that collage paper above it, and then I thought some washi paper would look good, or some washi paper. No, washi tape. So I'm adding a little bit of washi tape down here in the bottom left. It's just got some like gears on it, and just like kind of a vintagey rustic look to it. I hadn't done a vintage page for you guys yet. Everything I've done has been real bright, so I thought something vintage would look cool. So that piece up there across the top under the sign is kind of looks like a measuring tape. I thought that looked kind of neat. And then this is a stencil I have that just has a bunch of old clocks on it. I love clocks. Something about clocks and trunks are very classic, and I love them. So I'm just using a little dauber here that has like a foam pad at the bottom that velcros onto it, and I'm just picking up some black acrylic paint and just dabbing it through the stencil kind of carefully, because if I'm not careful, that stencil could move or the paint could seep underneath the stencil, and then I'm just gonna have a giant mess, a giant black blob. You're not gonna see a clock. I do kind of accidentally go on the outside of the stencil, and I have like this little black line, but that's okay. It kind of makes it look a little spray painted like, which is kind of cool. I'm okay with that effect, because this isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be messy. It's supposed to look, you know, worn and aged and, you know, vintage. So I'm just taking my time, going a little slow. This is kind of old paint I'm using, so it's real thick, so I'm not worried about it running underneath it, so it's really going to kind of dry real fast. And I decided to do a second clock on the right hand side as well. It's a different clock on the stencil. I didn't want it to have symmetry. I didn't want it to be identical on both pages. So I chose a different clock. It is bigger, and this one has Roman numerals as well, I think. It's just bigger, and the hands are at a different time. So this one I'm just kind of doing the same thing, just pushing that dauber into it, just pushing that acrylic paint in there, and you just kind of be careful with these. And the Dauber, the stamp pad at the bottom, the little foam pad at the bottom, those can come off and be washed and be replaced because they do get worn out and start falling apart after a while. So now I'm going to start adding my color to kind of make it look vintage and worn and old, even though this is an old vintage book, and this is old vintage article, like ad. I want it to all kind of look the same age. They're two different time periods, so they have two different looks to them, but I want them to kind of look like they go together. So I'm just taking my ink pads and putting the ink on my hand and putting a little water on there, because these ink pads are water based, so they will run around. I didn't want to use just my ink sprays. I wanted to use these because I have more like browns and darker colors in my ink pads. Also the Oxides, I don't know if any of you guys have worked with those Distress Oxides. What's cool about those is when they dry, some parts of it will have different colors than other parts. It's kind of interesting when you apply the heat to it from your heat gun. It'll kind of change a little bit of the color. It's really interesting. I always have a hard time getting mine to dry for some reason. I don't know if anyone else has trouble getting their Oxide inks to dry when they use them, but mine are always so stubborn. Now I did use a little bit of that green and a little bit of this blue, not a ton of it, but just enough, because if you've ever seen anything that gets rusty, it kind of has that like patina, I think is what it's called. It's like just an aged look. Like think about the Statue of Liberty. She's green, she's old. That's what her rust looks like. She doesn't have that normal rust nail color that you'd expect for metal. She's like a greenish color. So I didn't want it to be all the same color, so I wanted it to have a couple different colors in there. I did pull out some of my spray inks and some of these inks that are in like little droppers, and I dropped those on there because I wanted to have some ink running around on it. And I also used some black that I had in a spray bottle on there just to darken it up a bit. At the end I will show you a before and after from me adding the color, and I'm using my heat gun not just to dry it but to move the color around, and I love how it came out. So let me know what you guys think, if you enjoyed the vintage color, and I guess I will check you guys out in the next video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when I put out another video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!